Now welcome back to my electric Porsche 928 conversion project. It's been a few weeks, sorry about that, but if you remember last time I failed to find out why the high voltage battery is no longer connecting. I'd wasted a lot of time and just couldn't solve the problem. Having run out of ideas, I've been looking around for some expert advice to chase down the problem. And people say, no, you're the expert now. And that's a terrifying thought to me, because I am definitely not the expert. We found a real guru. Introductions. Everybody, this is Alex.
Right.
And he's brought me a new crash module. Just in case that was the problem. It could well have been that the computers finally said, hey, you only get 10 hours running or 40 starts or 20 ignition cycles or something before I finally spit the dummy and say, no, you can't run without a crash module anymore. So maybe that's it.
So just programming the new module, just writing the bin into it.
And then do you have to activate it as well? To say?
It's part of the coding, so
okay.
it'll activate it at the same time.
Okay. Oh, that's good. Doesn't look like we're having much luck. Well, for safety reasons, I guess it's good to have a new crash module in the car. After about an hour or so, Alex concludes that's not the reason the high voltage isn't reconnecting. But finally... And I think he's found it. He found I had a bad earth on this. This is the HVAC control unit, and he checked an earth on there, and it wasn't going anywhere, and we found it and we put it to earth.
Yep.
Because, what's your theory?
So basically the gearbox and the traction motor needs to know what the air conditioning is doing, because that's the source of cooling for the battery. So with no communication, it doesn't know what to do.
Okay, and that'll prevent the HV.
Yep.
All right, let's give it a go. Keys ready?
Yep. Keys there.
Start and... Oh. Okay.
And we're now back into ready mode.
And the wheels on the bus? The wheels on the bus go round and round. Oh. Jesus, what's going on? Are you accelerating?
No.
Ooh.
Backwards and forwards.
That's a worry. Oh dear. That's crazy. What's it doing? We might shut it down, eh?
Yeah.
Go neutral. And that'll stop it. Oh well. Wheels going backwards, forwards, backwards is better than not going at all, but...
I'm just thinking when it goes into drive, it seems to have gone into reverse.
We'll try reverse, see what happens. Reverse.
It's reversing.
Yeah, it's reversing. Stop. Now just slowly rolls to a stop.
Yep.
Drive. It's going forwards. Now it's going backwards. Okay. Whoa.
Okay.
Action stations. I think we'll switch it off. It's all getting a bit too exciting. But before we go, how do you like what I did with these switches? They were on the steering wheel.
Yep.
I trimmed them up so they're nice and flush. And I'll mount nice and flush together and they can go right there.
Perfect. Just turn that back on.
Okay.
I'm just going to scan it and just see what else I know.
Okay.
What comes up.
It's on. Little brake booster's going crazy. Let's tell Matt.
So was it connected and then it was disconnected? So
Yeah.
solved now.
When we got it going the first time, I gave Matt a cuddle, but I don't think I'm going to give Alex a cuddle. I don't know him that well enough. You can have a virtual cuddle. Hey Matt, are you here?
Yeah. It's running.
It's running.
That's good.
He fixed it. I had a bad earth on the aircon module.
Unreal.
And if it can't see the HVAC module, it says, oh, how am I going to cool this battery if it gets hot? And it says no battery. Guess whose fault it is? It's one of us. It's either you, me, or him. Point to the person whose fault it is.
That's a good.
I thought it was there, but it wasn't.
It kind of makes sense. It worked, it didn't. Stuff
Yeah,
like
as I said in the last video, you know, if it was working and then you've changed things and it doesn't work,
yeah, go back to
it's probably something you've done. There's a lesson for you.
So,
Don't go chasing red herrings. So we've got a crash module we don't need.
Well, it's good because we'll have less lights on the dash. at the end result.
Well, right now we've got massive more lights on it. Oh, when we fix all the, when we tell it, we've got all our airbags and seatbelt pretensioners and seat restraints and...
We'll have heaps less.
Okay, we got work to do. This is the sound of my head. Next up will be battery. Once we know that it works, we've got a brake pedal. We're not going to drive it around like that because it's got a 10 mil of ground clearance. Do you have an interesting question you may not be able to answer? These batteries designed to run sitting upright or on their side. They're not designed to run standing on their end or upside down.
They're actually, in terms of the module, it can actually go any way you want it.
We were using cooling plates, and one of my design has cooling plates with them either side of it, so some on top and some upside down underneath. But the gel packs tend to move away from the bottom, so you don't actually get the cooling evenly, and the electrolytes move within the gel packs, and so he said don't do that.
Keep it, ideally keep it similar to what it is, but it should be able to go any direction. But
there's safe options to do them just the way it is.
Same.
Yeah, 6, 12, 18, 3 layers. I am so lucky to have these guys working on this job. They're both really on the job.
Thank you for coming in.
Yeah, mate.
You know?
Now, while I've got the brains trust here, the other problem that totally had me stumped was charging from a power point. It wouldn't charge. The car will recognise the charge cable is connected, but it won't actually start. I thought it was related to the temperature sensors, one of which was giving an odd reading. But evidently, no, that wasn't it. Okay.
So the connection confirm resistor was not connected.
Connection confirms resistor not connected. Therefore not connected, therefore not allowed to charge. I had simply neglected to connect one little cable. And that goes off to there. Okay. Mate, have you just fixed my other problem?
We fixed the other problem.
What have you done?
So we didn't have the connector in for the charge port.
Okay.
So the charger wasn't communicating with the onboard charger to say it was connected, so it never requested to start charging.
Okay.
Fixed the earth issue on the onboard charger, so that wasn't waking up.
Yep.
And now we're charging.
Wow. And we accidentally dislodged the interlock.
We accidentally opened the interlock while moving things around. But
okay.
now charging as per the instrument cluster.
Let me just prove that. I have to say, the more I learn about it, the more I'm impressed with the engineering and the resilience of this Chinese EV. The lesson here, the human factor's the weak link. It's me. I just need to pay more attention to detail. Perfect. I am so happy, viewer. And it's my birthday. Every episode needs sparks. Can you make some sparks for me, please?
You sure can.
Some time ago, we weighed the 928, just after we'd removed all the petrol bits. And if you remember, we'd lost over half a tonne, and it was down to just over 900 kilograms, which is amazing. But right now, we've added a lot back. The MG's electric motor and drivetrain, all the electrics, and that huge battery is slung underneath. In terms of major items, all we're really missing is a little bit of steel fabrication, some small radiators, a couple of seats, and all the interior trimming. So I'm very curious to know what it weighs right now, and I bet you are too. All along I've said I really want the car to weigh as little as possible, for two reasons. Lightweight obviously means better performance, because we've only got a small motor, but not just acceleration, in responsiveness, handling and braking as well. And then reason number two, when people say, it's an EV, I bet it's really heavy, I want to be able to say, nah, it's significantly lighter than any standard 928. So anything under 1450 kilogram is the goal. Under 1400 would be better. And the answer is, right now...
I'd say 1410.
Nope.
1290?
Yeah, 1307.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that's pretty good.
1307 kilos. I think we're on track. And what about the weight balance? Well, left to right now is pretty even, but the weight balance is going to change a lot. Currently the battery's slung underneath, and it's currently 40% front, 60% rear, which I'd actually be quite happy with. But the battery's going to move forward a lot, with the battery centre of gravity just behind the front wheels. On my CAD model, I think it's going to end up pretty much 50-50, just like the original 928. But overall, pretty encouraging. Look, I've got heaps of jobs today. Long list of jobs, but one of them is just to get the dash lights either dim or bright. Now, on the MG, the way you do that is when you normally start the car, that's the normal rest position, and they're dim. If you turn the headlights off, the dash lights will come bright. So that's the functionality I want to replicate. Interesting, if you look at this stalk, with just this one little connector here, there's a whole lot of functions. There's like 4 levels of that. There's the high beam, there's indicators, there's fog lights, there's this button. So how does it do like those 10 functions from just 7 pins? And the answer is resistance. As you turn this switch, that's 2K, 4K, 6K, 8K. 2K, 4K, 6K, 8K on just 2 of these pins. So what I'm going to do is make up just a little toggle switch. And these resistors I would have bought like 40 years ago. So they're finding probably around the time that car was made. So these have been hanging around all that time. Finally, I found a use for a couple of resistors. What I want is a 2K and a 4K. Now that one, as you know your resistances, have a good look. That's 3.8K, and you know that because it's orange, white, red. So 3900. And this one should be around 2K, 2.2, red, red, red. So that's 2200. Should be 2.2K. Close enough. And the earth in the middle, and that should give me bright dim. Apply solder to the job, not to the iron. Presto. Anyway, just an example of one little job. Nice and tidy. Bit of cloth tape on it. Headlights on auto. Headlights off. Okay, I can change that for a momentary contact switch, but for the moment, that'll do. So I trimmed up these things. They're a bit irregularly shaped, so I've trimmed those so they should actually abut nicely together. And I've just ordered some nice carbon fibre surround for this, just inconspicuous, sort of semi-matte black, not too showy, to make up a big surround to hide all this stuff. So I think that could work quite well. These are the wheel speed sensors from the front wheels of the MG. And as I described last time, maybe we can use them to actually get speedo working. Because, there we go. Now just to run you through the numbers, if the motor's doing 10,000 RPM at maximum speed, that's about 160 k's an hour. The axle out to the wheels is doing about 1200 RPM, which is around 21.4 cycles per second. The wheels have a diameter of 2 metres, so that's about 42 metres per second, which is about 150 k's an hour. That's about right. There are 48 poles on the little magnetic thing that these things looked at. So that's about 1,000 hertz, 21.4 times 48, about 1,030. So that's 1,030 hertz past these things should actually represent 150 k's an hour. A tenth that, about 100 hertz, would be about 15 k's an hour. Here is my patented simulator. One only. 2. Alright, well given that this isn't actually magnetised and these holes are very irregular and it's just getting a very random spurious signal, at least the principle works. The numbers were way off, but with 4 of them there and a proper magnetised disc mounted right here, with this, all the sensors just sort of nicely there, as that rotates and they go past a cogged wheel that's off that sandwich plate there, I reckon that'd be perfect. It's just a case of getting the right number of cogs. The standard car is 48, but we'll make an allowance for the fact that I'm going to put slightly different size wheels and tyres on, and it might be 50, it might be 46, but it should work.
Surely that's more than enough nerdy content for one episode. I think you can see how happy I am that we're moving ahead again. You can also see there are hundreds of little jobs like these, so I'll try not to bore you with every single one, but suffice to say there's plenty more to come. Can't wait till we get into the battery box. And a big thanks to Alex from MG Australia for taking the initiative to pop out and see us and help. Very grateful for your knowledge and your help, mate. And viewer, as always, thanks for watching. See you next time, and happy birthday to me.